someone says something or does something and it hurts. And then poof, the words are gone. Your ability to speak just evaporates, even though inside you're a total mess. It literally feels like your throat has been filled with concrete. Does that sound familiar? That feeling where your heart is just absolutely screaming, trying to defend itself, trying to explain, but you can't make a single sound. It is such a powerless and frustrating place to be. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Most people mistake this for the silent treatment, but what's really going on is completely different. You're not choosing silence to punish someone. Your brain has initiated a high-security lockdown. It's a protective shield, not a weapon. And this is exactly why so many people who go through this get labeled as cold or distant or difficult, when in reality, they're not being cold at all, they're just protecting themselves. If you're tired of being misunderstood for this, if you've ever felt like one of the silent sufferers, this one's for you. Our whole mission here is to decode your biology so you can finally stop apologizing for the incredible ways your brain has figured out how to survive. Okay, let's really get into this because this is the core idea. What you're experiencing is not a personal flaw. It is not a system error. It is a feature, not a glitch. And this comparison just lays it all out perfectly. On one side, you've got the silent treatment, right? That's a conscious choice. It's often manipulative, used to control a situation. But on the other side, you have the silent shutdown. That is a totally involuntary biological reflex designed for self-preservation. It's the difference between a tactic and a survival instinct. So, what is actually going on inside your head during one of these shutdowns? Well, it all comes down to your brain kicking into full-on survival mode. The first big concept we need to understand is something called biological sovereignty. Now, it sounds kind of fancy, but it's really simple. It's the idea that your brain has learned, through experience, that keeping you safe on the inside is the #1 priority, even if it means disconnecting from the outside world for a little while. And how does it learn this? Well, for a lot of people, it starts way back in childhood. If you grew up in a home where your emotional language just didn't translate, where expressing your feelings led to being dismissed or misunderstood or even punished, your brain learned a very simple, very crucial lesson. Distance equals safety. Silence equals survival. And that leads us right into the second key concept, conservation mode. When your nervous system senses a major emotional threat, it makes a strategic decision to pull all of its energy and resources inward. So here's how it all unfolds. It starts the moment a threat is detected, a cutting remark, a big argument. Immediately, your system prioritizes internal stability above all else. And that means social performance, like talking and debating, that gets shoved to the bottom of the list. Since talking requires a ton of energy, your voice is one of the very first things to go offline. Okay, I know that's a lot of biology. So let's use a really simple but powerful analogy to make it all click. I just want you to picture it. Inside your head, there's a very tired, very overworked IT technician who is just trying to keep the whole system from crashing. So when someone says something hurtful, a massive system alert starts flashing. The tired IT guy sees it and knows a full-blown debate would overheat the servers and risk a total system failure. He just doesn't have the energy for that. So he does the simplest, safest thing he can think of. He walks over and just pulls the plug on the voice box. System saved. So here's the bottom line. If you take only one thing away from this, please let it be this. You are not broken. You are just highly optimized for survival. Your brain is doing exactly what it learned to do to keep you safe. And that really just leaves us with one final question for you to think about. When things get heavy, does your brain's IT guy pull the plug? It's a pretty powerful way to think about it, right? It reframes the whole experience from one of shame to one of genuine understanding. Thanks so much for joining us.